Hi there. If you're here, it's because it is time for you to change your inner critic into an inner champion. And I am going to share with you a method, my favorite method for doing that. My name is Krista Hollingsworth, and I am the founder of HelpYouGrowCRO.com. And I work with founders and I work with C-suite executives and I work with business leaders, and I help them grow their top line revenue and grow their business and grow their opportunities. And so you might be thinking, why does the revenue lady have anything to say about the inner critic? Well, you would be surprised at how how you feel about yourself as a leader of your business, as a leader of your team, how that affects your team's performance, how it really affects the performance of the business. And so I'll give you an example. Let's imagine that you had a big deal and the deal it didn't happen, right? You lost the sale, team lost the sale, totally blew it. That feeling, you're going to feel frustrated, you're going to have human feelings. But if your inner voice is going on and saying, how could we be so stupid? What is wrong with them? They didn't do the right thing. What's wrong with me? Your inner voice is going on, and you rain down on your team. That's not going to be motivating. So, and that does affect performance. Sometimes our inner critic also keeps us from taking risks, take calculated risks, take good risks, the kinds of risks that are going to allow us to expand our business. Sometimes our inner critic is a little bit of a control freak, right? And so we'll micromanage everyone because they can't do it right. So our inner critic, that inner voice, can show up in a lot of ways that will impact the business negatively. So one of the things I'm going to teach you like a 4-step process on turning the inner critic into your inner champion, so that the critic isn't necessarily a yes person, right? It's not just going to tell you you're great when you're not doing great, but it's going to be more of a discerning voice. It's going to be like you have your own inner coach that is going to tell you, you've got this. You've got this. Or in some cases, we need to work a little bit harder on this. We need to put a little bit more energy into it. And then you're going to see some great results. It's just such a wonderful thing to turn that voice into a friend instead of having it continue to be an enemy. So one of the things that you need to know is that the voice is actually trying to help you, not hurt you. I know. So in the earlier example, that voice saying, what's wrong with you? You could have done this, you should have done this, and is like raining down. That probably helped you if that's the quality of your inner voice. That inner voice helped you. That was probably very motivating for you at some point. So the first thing to do is to recognize that our inner dialogue, even when it's negative, is set up to help to protect us, and it worked for a while and it's just not working anymore. It's not working in the way that we need it to work. It's not motivating the team. It's not creating more opportunities. It's taking opportunities away. The second thing to do, and actually you can maybe do the second thing first, is to stop to listen to the voice. You might know it's like, well, I can be hard on myself, but I'm not really listening to the voice. Many years, my first meditation teacher, she said, you got to listen to your thoughts. All meditation teachers are going to tell you, listen to your thoughts. You listen to your thoughts because there's a you, and then there's the thought. I'm going to warn you, when you do this, you are going to be horrified at what you are thinking about yourself and about other people. So it calms down, but that first and that initial really listening to the thoughts, right? So we want to listen to the thoughts. We want to understand that our thoughts, that the inner critic is here to help us, but we're going to turn it into an inner champion. So you see, you're doing some positive self-talk already. The next thing, and this is really important, the next thing to do is when you hear the critic come up, you ask yourself, is that true? I know. Take a deep breath. And you ask yourself, is that true? Is it true that, there's something wrong with me? Is it true that, I can never do anything right? Is that true? I can never do anything right. So, two things are going to happen. One of two things. One, you're going to know immediately it's not true. That's an old tape. I can just turn that off already. I know you're trying to help me inner voice, but I need you to help me in this way. I need you to be more encouraging. So you're talking to the inner voice that you have programmed, right? The other thing that will happen is that you might say, I know it's not true, but it feels true. And so I'm here to tell you, if that's the case, there's a wonderful thing that you need to know. Your heart will follow your mind. If you counteract the thought, if your thought says you always mess things up, and you tell yourself, well, actually, that's not true, even though it kind of feels true. Things didn't go well today. Maybe it kind of feels true. But you start telling yourself, no, I know that's not true. I know that I have built my business. I know I have built my team. I have clients that really appreciate me. I have mentored many people and I've had a lot of successes. And you start talking to yourself about the successes that you've had. That heart feeling will begin to follow the direction of your thought, of your positive thought. And I promise if you do this, right, maybe you want to write some of those positive thoughts down on a post-it note and stick it on your mirror so you can see it every day. Once you start counteracting and talking to the voice and saying, no, 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 I need you to go in this direction, you will be amazed. You will be amazed at all of a sudden your inner voice will say, you've got this. You've got this. All right. I believe in you. I know you can do this. I know you're doing great, good things. And so if you have any questions, any comments, maybe you have a better method for turning that inner critic into an inner champion, I would love to hear it. And if you like this content, just let me know. Let me know. All right. Thank you.